Okay, well, I hope you've done that, but in case you need a reminder, we need to start the JMC application first of all. I've navigated here to where the JMC application is installed, and I just need to run it with a command line of a -vm and the path to one of my JDKs. So I'm just going to start up JMC. Okay, that's now running. Let's start our application up. And then we can go back into JMC and hopefully we'll be able to connect to it. It should appear here. There it is. And I want to do a 1-minute flight recording. We're just going to record for 1 minute. I'm going to accept all the default settings here and just click on finish. And I'll pause the camera while that records. Okay, the recording's just coming to an end now and the file will open automatically in JMC. So I'm just going to wait for that to finish. And what we're told then here is, well, we've got a red block. There's still some primitive to object conversions taking place. And actually it tells us in the generate next prime method is where that could be a problem. And let's have a look at the method profiling option here. And that's telling us that the Fibonacci numbers task run method is being run the most option. Now we've not looked at this method, so let's have a quick look at that now. And I've got that on screen here. Now, I'll just stop my application running. This is, as I said, a really badly written application. And the way the application works is that we have one task calculating Fibonacci numbers, one task calculating primes, and another task that combines them together. The process of calculating Fibonacci numbers is actually really quick. And so to stop the array list growing massively, actually it only calculates the next Fibonacci numbers if there aren't at least 100 of them in the queue waiting to be picked up and looked at. Now this, as I said, is really badly written. Actually, I don't think that's a problem. I don't think we really need to worry too much about this. So I'm going to ignore that problem for the purposes of this exercise. So here's the task then. Before we run this task, I want to make a couple of little changes. You might have noticed that when we've run the project before, even when we reached the end, we found our 8 numbers, the application didn't stop running. And that's because there were some tasks still out there still running. And we need to make sure that we exit cleanly, that all those tasks have finished. So what I want to do is just check each of the threads and work out how we can make sure that we are ending those threads nicely. We'll start with the Fibonacci numbers task, as we were looking at that one just a moment ago. And that has a loop in that loops until the value of finished is set to true. And actually we've declared the value of finished here locally, but actually that's a mistake. I apologize for that because it is also declared at the top level, and there is a method called task complete which should set that value of finished to true, which means that this should exit nicely. Let's just go into the main method and we'll make sure that we're calling task complete. Well, we're doing that there actually only if combined reaches the number of greater than 100, and that should now be our target value. So let's make this if combined is greater than or equal to target, and we'll change it in version 2 as well. Okay, hopefully that's going to now end our Fibonacci numbers task method. Let's just check the other two. So the combined numbers task, again, it's got a class level variable called finished with a task complete method. Where's our loop? That's fine. We haven't declared it locally there, so that should be all right. And finally, the other one was the prime numbers task. And again, we've got a private variable called finished. We've got hopefully somewhere a task complete method. And here's our never ending loop. And we haven't declared it locally. So hopefully this time it will actually end. And in fact, I'm going to run the main method just to make sure that it does exit cleanly. Let's change the target in the main method to 8. And actually, we need to make sure these task completes are called correctly, so I think we'll move these to the end of the method. So after we've printed out the time taken, we'll put in the tasks complete. And let's just make that same change in the 2 versions below. So those are going there, and we'll remove that. And then finally down here. I know that's been quite a bit of work to change the project, but of course you'll be able to see this project in the final workspace for this chapter. So if you're not sure, you can always take a look at it there. But let's just run this and make sure that the application works and the project ends cleanly, first of all. Good, so we've got our time taken and the application has terminated. So that should be now ready to start.